strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Welcome everyone to my first ever Illuvium PvP Arena Guide. I am a new player. I've just recently jumped into Illuvium Arena and I've spent about 15 to 20 hours so far playing this game, trying to learn it. And today I'm going to share with you what I have found so far, without a doubt, to be the best starter team to get started playing this game here. And I say this for a couple reasons. First off, it's just a lot of fun. This is what a lot of people call an Umbre ramp team. We're going to just really beef up Umbre here and let him dominate the battlefield. And it is so satisfying to really stack up his stats and just watch it go off. But more importantly, number two, this really simplified the game for me. So when I first started playing, and even now, I really kind of struggle being overwhelmed with what is going on. You jump in and you've got all these alluvials, all these augments, and as you can see right here on the battlefield, there's just so much going on in this auto battle at once. It is hard as a new player to really grasp why things are happening, why you're winning, why you're losing. It's one thing to understand how to play the game, but a completely different level to really be able to follow what's going on. And this Umbre strategy just really simplified things for me. It gave me a very clear goal of what I was trying to do and being able to focus on that. And it's really helped me learn the game as I've gone on now, because it broke things down into the simpler terms. And then I started adding on, okay, different strategies, different ways I can do this, and piecing things together kind of one at a time, instead of trying to understand these more complex strategies with all these different moving pieces. It was more just focusing on one key carry, one key element, and that just really simplified the game for me. So I'm not necessarily saying this is the best team to go run as far as best performing team, but I feel like this is a great starter team because it does perform very well. I've climbed a lot of rating, and then it's very good to help learn the game as well. So I'm gonna go through a battle. Right here is a battle from my last Twitch stream. If you're not following me on Twitch, come follow me. Let's have fun playing the game, learning the game together. But I'm gonna go through this team here and really explain what is going on, why I've done what I've done, and kind of help break things down. So first off, before we go any further here, I do want to shout out Web3 Gaming TV. He's who I originally took this team from. I've modified it just slightly, not a lot of changes. I have made a few. There's a bunch of other people running this team. This is a fairly common team out there that you're going to see, or different variations of this Umbre team. But we're going to kind of go through and explain in a little more detail for those who are just starting out the game what we're doing. So to get started here, we're going to put 3 cheap water bulwarks out on the battlefield. We've got our Lesser Water Groko, our Carrot Blue, our Atlas. These are just some cheap units that are going to help buy some time for our Umbre to ramp up and get started. They've got the water affinity for some synergy with our Umbre. We've got I'm going to give a fire weapon here to my ranger, so that when we bind later, we're not binding yet, but when we bind later, it's going to create a steam synergy to help boost our Umbre even further. And I like to spread them out horizontal just because it gives me more flexibility in where I place my units. Placing your Umbre close to certain units is going to be important later on as we get to our omnivamp. So it just kind of, I feel like it gives me more flexibility. I see people doing it other ways. I'm not sure. I'm honestly not sure which is best. You can do whatever you want, but bottom line is you don't have to spread them out like that. This first round, we honestly don't care about. I mean, yeah, we'd like to take it. That'd be nice, but it's going to take us a few turns to ramp up. So we're going to be very weak these first couple of rounds. If we drop them, that is okay, not a problem at all. All right, on to round 2 here. It's time to get the big boy, get our carry out here, Umbre, and I'm going to place him near one of my tanks on the left or the right hand side, because I'm going to give them that omnivamp augment, which we'll talk about when the time comes. But I like to set it right next to one of those tanks. And Umbre is just great here for several reasons. So we've got, first off, It's a water unit, which is going to give lots of energy regen. When we put this omnivamp augment here, it's going to, it's a life leech. Every time we use the omega, it's going to give us more health. We're going to recover health. So we're going to be able to use that omega over and over and over again. Having extra energy regen helps us use that quicker. He's got on his omega, he disappears. He's not targetable, so that makes it very hard for the opposing side, for your opponent, to take him out early before he can ramp up. Because if they try to target him down early, he gets that omega off, he's just going to disappear. We'll see that as we go forward. And then just as this Slayer, it's the Slayer bonuses, which is going to increase his crit chance, increases attack speed as we ramp up through the battle, and it's just overall a very good damage dealer. His stats ramp very, very well, so that's why we're using Umbre here. So round 2, go ahead and get him on the board, get him started here. You're gonna see he's a rogue. He snaps to the back of the battlefield, and then we'll target, and we watch the second bar here. That's his energy. Once that maxes up, you're gonna see he becomes intargetable. So as he got taunted there, but as he uses his omega there, he goes invisible, becomes untargetable, and that's really going to help. So he's dying kind of quick here, right? We haven't given him some augments. We haven't given him the synergy to really ramp up yet. This is only round 2. It's okay that we lose this. Again, we're probably going to drop the early rounds. It's not a big deal whatsoever. So on to round 3 here, where we get to show some more synergy. We get to start buffing him up just a little bit here. So here in round 3, I decided to go ahead and get my Axon out. Now, in the link below for this team, I've actually changed it around a little bit. I have my Axodon that is Scion dominant, so that I can link. In this video here, my Axon is the one that is Scion dominant. So however you want to run it, you want one of these alluvials to be Scion dominant, so that you can bind with the Rangers. You see what I just did there is I bound my Ranger to that Axon, which is going to make it a Harbinger unit. So now we've got 2 of those out there. And what that means is that whenever those alluvials die, they're going to grant omega to my highest omega alluvial. So that in this case is going to be our Umbre unit, right? The one that we're stacking. So these become like martyr units in that we kind of want them to die. And I mean, the longer they stay out there, that's kind of nice, but we want them to be the first units to die, I guess we should say, so that they then buff up that Umbre even more and start powering it up. So we get our Axon out there, or Axodon, whichever one we're going with here, and now we can start to get these augments. So I like this Exalted Fusion here, which is going to ramp up his attack. So as the battle goes on, he's going to gain more and more attack to start ramping up his stats. And then we have one of our key augments here. So I'm going to give this to the units surrounding Umbre, so that it can give him omnivamp. You can see the 2 nearest units are going to gain omnivamp. And again, omnivamp is essentially a life leech. Whenever we use the omega ability, Umbre is going to then restore health. So we'll start to see that in this battle. So we're now, compared to round 2, we have now boosted our attack throughout the battle for our Umbre. We've got an omnivamp. So whenever it uses, we see right here, it's going to use, see how it healed a little bit? When it used that attack, it healed up some. So now it's going to start, it's got a way to heal itself up. And as our frontline units die, they're going to feed omega power to our Umbre as well, and that's going to allow it to stack even more attack, so that it's really going to start doing more and more damage. And the more damage it does on that omega, the more it heals up, and this thing just starts to turn into a beast. So one of the key things in this, one of the key focuses for this battle is just stacking our Umbra as much as possible. So again, I feel like it really simplifies the game because we're just trying to focus on making this as beastly of a unit as possible and then building things around that. So now here in round 3, we are going to get the Slayer bonus out. We're going to add another attacker here that's going to provide a little bit of attacking support there early on, but more importantly, get that Slayer bonus, which is going to give us attack speed and crit chance every time Umbre defeats a unit. We're gonna stack up that damage even more. And now the first affinity I placed on here was one that I won from the bidding war. I'm not going to go over that too much, but it's giving extra omega power out there, which we want omega power, right? That's going to help us get more damage, more life steal. And then what I've put the second augment I put on our Umbre is another important one, and this is the Survivor protocol. And I talked about how it's very hard to target down the Umbre because he disappears all the time and becomes untargetable. But if they do get him down, if they drop him below 10% health, he's actually now going to become invincible. I shouldn't say invincible. You can take him all the way down to 1 health, but he cannot be defeated for 6 seconds. So it's almost like an emergency protocol that, okay, you do get him down once. Well, that's okay. He's going to become indomitable. He can't be defeated for 6 seconds. During those 6 seconds, he's probably going to get off one of his omega abilities. His energy is going to fill up, and that's going to give him a bunch of life steal so that he heals back up, and now he can continue on. So it's kind of a life-saving measure to make sure he doesn't be defeated easily, and just give him more time. Once that happens, he's then ramped up his maybe his attack speed, his crit chance, his attack in general. He's ramped it up even more, and now become even harder to take down. So we'll get to see it in action here again. This is where the beginning stages of him really becoming a beast, and he just becomes so much fun to watch. Puts out so much damage and is so tough to take down. And it's just so satisfying when you get into some of these battles and the opponent probably thinks they've got him. It looks like, I mean, here they've definitely got more units on the board. Looks like they're doing a pretty nice job, but they're not taking down this Umbre now. He is just becoming an absolute monster, and his attack ramps up. We still end up with a few units on the board here. So from here on out, it's really just about placing these augments. We get our final kind of big chess piece on the board here in our dual F, and this is another one that I like to have survive. We're gonna go ahead and get dual F out there, get our another tank to help survive. Oh, guess what? Another unit we can put this omnivamp on. So I frequently change, depending on what my opponent's doing, I'll change which units I set next to Umbre to put that omnivamp on. But we have three omnivamp augments here, and we can set those on other alluvials so that it stacks. And every time he gets that omega off, he's basically just filling his health back up to full health, and he gets some insane damage numbers. I'll click over and you'll start to see some of the damage numbers as we get to the end. But he just absolutely goes off. You can kind of see some of the stats up there, but it's fun to follow along the stats as we go. There was an instance where, okay, they were ganging up on him, and he got to his omega. He disappeared. He wasn't targetable. He healed back up, and it just works. It just works very, very well. This is not an unbeatable team by any means, but it's very fun to run, and there's a lot of different things you can do to it. So here we've got all of the omnivamp pieces out, and then we've kind of gone through the main ones. Everything else is kind of secondary and will be based on personal preference. In this particular battle, I decided I just wanted to nerf the crap out of their energy gain. So I put all these biogenetic suppressors out there that are going to decrease the amount of energy that that the opponent is getting. I decided to decrease their attack speed on one of the tanks. Frequently, I'll be putting the survivor protocols on my gyro, on my dual F. Those are some other big damage dealers out there, and I want them to stay alive. It kind of depends on what my opponent is doing. So in this case, you can see they went after that dual F because I did not get any sort of defense or countermeasures back there, and so that's something in the following rounds I'll try to address. Increase the survivability there, because that thing can do a lot of damage on its own as well, but it doesn't compare to our Umbre back there. Like, look at this. Look how overwhelmed he is. Look how many units he has out there. And then, oh, they almost had him down. He jumped back up to full health. He gets some KOs. His attack speed starts going crazy. Look how fast he's attacking. Look at that damage meter over on the left-hand side. Look how much damage he starts stacking, and he just dishes out so much damage. It is so much fun watching battles like that right there, where he basically just plows through the entire team. There, as you can see, I put the survivor protocol on my dual F, and at this point we've got a lot of mastery points, and it's just about whatever augments I want to put out to try and counter whatever my opponent is doing. And this right here, this is the aspect where I started to learn the game a lot better, because I got the key part down, and then it was making adjustments. And okay, we can make this adjustment here, that adjustment there, starting to learn these other augments I can go through. And again, I had this team just simplifies things, because you've got a very clear goal and clear path to victory, trying to stack up that Umbre, and then it's just, okay, how can I complement that? What pieces can I put out here? Do I want to decrease their energy? Do I need to protect some of my other units? Where are their attackers going after? Can I try to nerf those attackers by decreasing attack speed, by adding shields to increase my health? How can I keep my dual F alive for a little bit longer over there? You can see I put that survivor protocol. It still died kind of quickly, but that gave me another 4 seconds back there, where they're just attacking it, even though it can't die. It gave me a little bit extra time for that Umbre to go off, to get started. And now we're just gonna see a repeat of the last one. He looks like he's overmatched, and then now he's at full health. Looks like he's down. Oh, back up to full health. Survivor protocol picks in, back up to full health, dishing out massive amounts of damage. It's just such a fun team to play, and has again, I can't say it enough. It's simplified the game for me quite a bit, really helped me understand what is going on, and now I feel like my knowledge is expanding as I'm learning more about these other augments, learning what my opponents are trying to do to counter that and to block that. It's definitely not a team that is unbeatable. There are certainly teams out there that can beat it, but it's really helped expand my knowledge, helped me get better at the game. And so I think this right here is the best starter team for Illuvium. Let me know what you guys think. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. There's gonna be a lot more Illuvium content coming.